Well, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and today we are going to be evaluating and looking at the top 100 cards on EDHREC. If you're not familiar with EDHREC, EDHREC is a website where you can input your commander decks, and they pull from a bunch of different other websites. They give you percentages of the cards that are in your commander's deck, and so then you have a list. They have a list of the top 100 cards that are used in Commander, and I think there's some things that we can learn about it, whether you be a player or somebody who's buying cards or speccing on cards or whatever. So that's a conversation I saw on Reddit, and then I went through and did the numbers myself and wanted to have just some conversation on. So these are the top 100 cards for the past 2 years, and I have taken those top 100 cards and put them into a spreadsheet. Copy and pasted, and then did the colors myself, and then this is the top 100 cards here for the list. And so there's a couple things I think are really interesting, a couple things that surprised me. I want to start with the things that surprised me. I thought that blue, or U in this color, in this case, would have been the highest represented card type in Commander, but it is not. Green has surpassed blue for the most represented in the top 100 list, which I thought was super interesting. And then another thing that I thought was interesting is that the third place is white, just white over red and white over black, and black was the least represented in this color scheme. So super interesting to me to think through that. Historically, I thought blue would be, the most powerful color in Magic. It seems like green maybe is outclassing that a little bit. And then white, it would be really interesting to compare this year to year, because I think white probably wouldn't have been as high up there. But over the last 6 months to a year, white has gotten a lot of tools and added a lot of tools to the mix. So definitely thought that was super interesting with that regard. The other thing I thought was really interesting is that most of the expensive cards, actually on this list, there were only 12 cards above the $20 threshold. I thought that was absolutely insane. 12 cards above the $20 threshold. And of those cards, they are all single color mana, which makes a whole lot of sense. If you think about it, they can go into now any commander that has blue in it, whereas like Noble Hierarch can only go into a commander that has all three of the colors, or Elamari's Call has to have white and green. So when you have cards that are single mana color, they can slot in a lot easier into different commanders, so that's a huge win. But the top value cards only being one color, I thought was super interesting. There's also an interesting take here. We'll talk about it right now. That of these cards, there is no single green mana. Everything, there's a Vampiric Tutor that's only one black mana. There's an Enlightened Tutor that's only one white mana. You've got Esper Sentinel that's only one white mana, Mystical Tutor that's only one blue mana, Swan Song only one blue mana. In the top list here, there is no single color, no single red or no single green. And with this percentage increase of green, it'll be really interesting to see if we ever get a pretty good commander card that is just green, one green mana, converted mana cost one green. I think that card would be a incredible spec if it has playability, because we just don't see it happening in this top 100 list. I don't think Elvish Mystic is the closest, and that's like almost all the way down on that list. So an instant or sorcery that is one converted mana cost green, I think would do phenomenally, and that's definitely something to be on the lookout for the future. But I also wanted to talk about how accessible Commander is. This price point, 65% of the cards are under $5. That's insane. 65% of the cards are under $5. 88% of the cards are under $20. That provides a great entry ramp for somebody who is looking to play Commander. I thought that was super interesting, that the most commonly played cards are so cheap and so accessible. I think you hear a lot of conversations of people looking at like competitive commander and really high end stuff that are like commander's not affordable. But I think commander is affordable at lower power levels. And I think that's a really, really interesting thing to evaluate. And here you have some data points on that. Now, let me give you the opposite side of that, which is that these cards are easier to slot in to your commander deck because they are cheaper. And maybe their cheapness adds to, they're going to be in more decks as a result of them being cheap. So there might be some fallacy in the logic there. But nonetheless, Commander can be played for a cheap amount of money. You don't have to build a $3,000 deck in order to have the top 100 cards in your list. You don't need to do that. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I think there's some things that you can learn from this. You can look through here and see if on your own time and see what cards have not been reprinted or what cards have already been reprinted quite often to kind of see what cards are going to hold up to value or maybe even go up in value if they don't see a reprint for a while. I'm pretty impressed with a lot of the cards. Obviously, like Fierce Guardianship hasn't seen a whole lot of reprints. Dockside just saw a reprint and it's still the second highest card on the list. But I'm impressed with some of these cards like Rhystic Study, Smothering Tide that have seen a decent number. I guess Smothering Tide, not that many. Although wasn't that in I don't know, maybe that was in a deck or something. But anyway, Mana Drains, it was that Mythic. But Rhystic Study just saw a reprint in Jumpstart. I think it was also in the Mystery Boosters. And so things like that they still hold a considerable amount of value is pretty amazing to me. I think it's really interesting to look at that kind of stuff and evaluate what happens if Rhystic Study doesn't see a reprint for 2 or 3 years. How does that affect the price of a card like that? All really interesting things. I would advise you to take a look at these to see what cards maybe you could slot into your commander deck that you haven't. I think that's another way to do this. EDHREC is a really great tool. You can kind of click on the commander. It's down right now, or maybe my internet's down or something. Oh, never mind. You can click on a commander and it will tell you kind of the top new cards. It will tell you high synergy cards. It's a really cool tool. I usually do it when I'm looking at potentially buying or investing in typically it would be a reserve list card, but not a card that can get reprinted. But I'll actually take up the card and click and say, okay, is this card actually seeing any play in Commander? So just for example, like you can click on Brainstorm and it will tell you what the top commanders and what percentage of their decks that you are seeing Brainstorm in. And so it's a great tool to see our cards seeing play. You can even look at the new cards and see how many people are excited about Timeless Lotus is actually a card I need for Sunday night. We're doing a live stream for Commander, but you can see how many decks are actually including this and if people are interested in it. It's a really great tool, so make sure you know that, edhrec.com. All right, anyway, I thought this was just super interesting, these top cards and the percentage and the pricing. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Remember to be kind to the people around you. Hopefully we'll see you on Sunday night for our Commander stream. Have a great day. Be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.